With Jacques Rudolph leading the way again with 100, Glamorgan stayed on the road to Lords by beating Somerset in a rain-affected game in Taunton by 95 runs on the Duckworth-Lewis method. The home side now needing other results to go their way if they are to qualify for the knockout stages of the Royal London One Day Cup. Jim Allenby was out for a duck, edging the 12th ball of the match delivered by Lewis Gregory to Peter Trigo after Marcus Trescothick inserted after winning the toss. It was not the start Glamorgan were looking for as they aimed to end a run of 3 successive defeats in this 50-over competition against a side which knew that if they won, they would have one foot in the quarter-finals. Not for the first time, it was Rudolph who dominated the early scoring for the Welshman. He had 29 of the 48 runs on the board after 12 overs when he lost Will Bragg at the other end for 19. Trigo this time finding the edge, which was pocketed by Trescothick. 7 overs then went by without a single boundary, and Somerset were on top even though Rudolph made it to a 50 for the 4th time in 6 knocks in this tournament. He needed 64 balls for his latest one, on his way to becoming the leading run scorer in this competition. He has been in wonderful form at the top of the order and knew that he had to keep going here. He produced some great shots in partnership with Murray Goodwin, the two using all of their many years of experience to recover a rather difficult situation after the loss of those early wickets. Goodwin struck the first 6 of the match in the 28th over off Trigo as the visitors reached a total of 148 for 2 with 20 overs of their innings remaining. A whip through the leg side off Johan Myberg took the Zimbabwean to the 50 mark for the 83rd time in his long one-day career. He was then out for a runner ball 63 when he holed out to Alfonso Thomas off Gregory after adding 118 runs in 20 overs for the 3rd wicket with Rudolph. Tim Groenewald was then offered half a chance to remove Chris Cook early on in his innings, the ball instead heading to the rope as another healthy partnership got going. Cook played an important hand as he and Rudolph brought up the 200 in the 38th over, just as some dark clouds gathered overhead. Rudolph now into the 80s and looking for a strong finish to an innings which needed to be won to give the hosts a lot to do. The South African was on 99 when the players went off, but back on with the game reduced to 47 overs per side. Rudolph got the single he needed off the first ball of the resumption to reach 3 figures for the 2nd time in this competition and for the 15th time in his one-day career. He needed 121 balls for this one. With now only 5 overs of the reduced innings to go, it was time to throw the bat. And in doing so, Rudolph was caught in the deep by Nick Compton of Groenewald for 111. But Cook remained and he reached a 50 off 37 balls with his 8th boundary, an innings which was just supplying the necessary impetus for his team before the break. Glamorgan was certainly not going to go down without a fight against one of the favourites to lift the Royal London One Day Cup next month. Gregory benefited from some late swinging. He had Graham Wagg held at long on by Jack Leach for his 3rd wicket. And his 4th arrived 3 balls later as Cook on a 44-ball 60 hammered this shot to Groenewald. Glamorgan ending on 289 for 6 from their 47 overs. Gregory with 4 for 48 from his 9. Thomas surprisingly going for 82 runs from his 10 overs. Duckworth-Lewis worked out that Somerset's target was 303 off 47 overs, and so they needed a quick start, one given to them by Trescothick. 40 runs were taken off the opening 6.5 overs, but then on 9, Compton was the latest to find Michael Hogan's induckers difficult to play and was caught behind off the inside edge. Hogan has been superb with the new ball in this tournament, and the Australian struck in his next over by removing Trescothick's off stump after he'd made a runner ball 25. Somerset simply lost too many wickets early on, with the total on 69 in the 17th over. Colin Ingram skied a catch to Wagg off Allenby to go for 10. And 3 overs later, bowler and fielder reversed their roles to dismiss James Hildreth for 3 at 83 for 4, leaving it to Trigo to try to carry the weight of his team's chances. But he was bowled by Wagg for 45 and the game was just about up for the home side when Gregory missed a reverse paddle and was LBW to Dean Koska. 119 for 6 became 148 for 7 when Koska struck again to remove Alex Barrow, and it was 166 for 8 as Myberg picked out Wag in the deep off James Harris. Glamorgan were winning this game easily, and although Grunewald continued his 6 hitting in this competition, the home side were to fall well short of their target after Thomas pulled Harris to Wag for his 3rd catch of the innings. Grunewald ended on 32 with the 2nd maximum, but his side were all out for 207 when Hogan bowled Leach for a duck to end with figures of 3 for 19 from his 8 overs. It was a very good performance from Glamorgan, who took the game by 95 runs, Somerset failing to use up 7 of their allotted overs. The points gained means that the Welshmen are now just outside of the top 4 of their group with 2 games to play, while Somerset will now need to win their last match at Surrey under the lights a week on Wednesday to see if that will be enough. Glamorgan against Warwickshire in Swansea this Thursday is a massive match now for both teams.